Hey guys, welcome back to the channel. If you're new around here, my name's Stingy. I make weekly Surron and Teleria content. We have all the best bikes on this channel. So if you're new, make sure you hit that subscribe button, click the bell icon so you don't miss out on future uploads. And yeah, today I've got a super exciting video to share with you guys. So if you were here a few weeks ago, you would have known that I had my CNC custom E-MOTO frame build going on in the background. So today what I'm going to do is we're going to show you how far I got with it, show you exactly what we've put onto it, and currently it's the world's most expensive balance bike, but the parts on it are pretty amazing. So without further ado, I'm going to pull the cover off and show you exactly what the bike looks like. Here is my current progress on the bike. Eliante pulling up, feeling like Harry Belafonte. Look at my racks, feel like Serena went from the back. Swing, pull like Jim, waves on swim, and a rock Timbs with the tech. Butterfly doors on the Tesla, I just spend shit on gas. $150, I be at the strippy club. It's taken me absolutely ages to get to this position just because there's so many parts on it that are either one, complete custom one-offs, or two, parts that weren't supposed to fit this sort of bike that we've had to make work. Now, the goal for this bike is not just to have an out-and-out power build. I've got my Ultra B for that, 50 plus kilowatts, perfect. This bike, main focus is agility and handling. So I'm going to take you through all the parts we've put on it so far and exactly why I've chose them, because this is truly a one-off. So this bike is actually 110 millimeters longer wheelbase than a normal Surron Light B. It also has a 28 degrees head angle on the forks, so a standard Light B is 26 degrees. This just gives more stability and better handling off-road. And then the seat height we've raised by 30 millimeters also, giving it the same ground clearance as a Surron Ultra B with a 21/18 wheel set. So I'm going to start from front to back. We've obviously got a lovely set of purple and black WGT Racing wheels, and on that we've got the tech suspension which came off my Teleria. Now we've made some really cool changes to these forks in the fact that we've widened them, and we've also put a brand new drop crown set on it from R-Flow XA. Now these came from E-MOTO parts in Germany. Link to them will be in the description because at the time we couldn't get them in the UK at the time, so I had to wait for these to come in. But what these have done is they've widened the forks by 16 millimeters, so the fork legs are further apart, and we've also dropped the forks down another 18 millimeters. So this just corrects the geometry on the bike. It lifts the front up higher, gets it feeling much more natural when you're riding it. Also gives you proper clearance on the fender with the tyre. This is a KTM 65 fender, which came off my Teleria. But I've also done another modification to further improve the geometry. So if I remove my number board, as you can see, we no longer have the original headset cup. We've actually gone with a 0 stack headset cup. This actually lowered the forks by another 18 millimeters. So in total, we have almost 30 millimeters of lowering on these already longer forks. So this really just gives a proper moto style stance and aesthetic to this bike, bringing the front up higher, really correcting the geometry problems that you have on the standard Surrons. So moving up from the forks, we have the SKRMod direct mount stem and the riser that comes with it. Now, I haven't cut the steer tube down yet, just because I just wanted to double check everything was fine with this headset cup. I did get this off of eBay. I'll leave a link in the description below. It is a plug and play fit for a Surron Light B. Now, if you have a Teleria MX4, this isn't going to fit. You need a custom one made, but you can use this one for a Surron Light B. Moving up to here, we've got some riser bars. I went with a 75mm rise on these, again, just to give it that proper moto feeling. And then here, again, we've got the Vola Sport braking system. So these brakes are phenomenal. They are the best brakes on the market by far. The brake pad is like an Ultra B pad in length, but it's also half the height again. I love this pad, also with their discs. Coming back, we've got a standard generic CNC ignition. Obviously, this is the battery lid which comes with the bike. And then back again, we've got the Fuse Racing custom seat. Now I had this seat made custom, features Bentley stitch. So what you see here, the cross hatching, I know it's not for everyone. I just thought it looked cool. It's got extra padding, and we've also got some contrast purple stitching at the front and back. Moving back again, we've got the SKRMod fender. Now they did kindly supply this to me with the direct mount stem. However, I've just cut it down a bit because it was just so long. It just looked very strange coming up at such a steep angle. So yeah, we've had to modify that. Moving down from here is where all the juicy stuff is.
Obviously, the thing that probably stands out to everyone straight away, we've got a VTB motor. This will give you a hint of the direction we're going with this bike. I'm not going to say too much. Next to that, we've got these custom billet 7075 aluminium foot peg brackets and foot pegs themselves. These were made by my good friend at Alpha Engineering. He made these as a one-off for me. We've got some purple studs and yeah, just amazing pegs. He also did the set that were on my Talaria right before I stopped using it. But yeah, in front of this motor, we've also got a CNC bash guard. I love the look of this bash guard. It also has support right the way back with capability to move my peg brackets from this forward position on the dirt pig frame to a further back position, and you can still bolt the bash guard through the actual peg nut itself for extra security. Moving back from here, guys, we've also got a new rear suspension setup. So if you want to come in a bit closer, this shock was a massive pain to make work with this build because the geometry of the extended swing arm with the frame being different, it's not like a standard bike. Now this is a tech shock which has a longer eye-to-eye length than a standard Surron shock. So we had to make a custom CNC linkage to make it work. When you buy this shock from Evolvendo, it does come with a Talaria linkage to make it fit directly onto the Talaria and keep the original geometry. Because this is using Surron linkages, we had to go out of our way, design some new files, have a new linkage custom CNC'd. Now this linkage actually has 12 bearings in it, 6 across here and 6 across the top as well. So it's never gonna break. I made sure I never had to buy another one of these just because of the amount of time we spent designing and manufacturing it. Now, the best thing about this shock is that this shock is going to give this rear wheel 245 millimeters of travel. Now, if you're familiar with the bike travel lengths, on a Surron Light B, you have 200 millimeters. On a Surron Ultra B, you have 240 millimeters. This has more than both of those. So this is really going to feel like a proper motocross bike on the track. We also have 240 millimeters on the front as well. So it's a very well balanced, high travel bike with extra ground clearance. So it's not going to run into any issues. Moving back again, obviously you saw the SKRMod subframe, but we've also gone for a WGT Racing 16-inch rear wheel with a Kenda Washgull tyre on it. Now, this whole setup has taken me a while to get into place because I started with a bare frame. I had to buy linkages, I had to buy bearings, I had to buy every single nut and bolt for a brand new bike. I didn't want to be using old used parts. I had to buy a new jack shaft, I had to buy a new belt and pulley. So coming across all of these parts was quite tricky and getting them for a decent price. But then also on top of that, working around all of the custom options on this bike, which have made it look so fancy. Like you couldn't just go out and buy the shock and make it fit. You then have to design the part around it. Same with the drop crowns. They are the R-Flow XA drop crowns. I'll leave you a link to those in below. But then you have to have a custom axle made, you know? So it's all very time consuming making these pieces, but I think the finished result is worth it. This bike is going to be going under the knife again this week. We're going to be putting a massive, massive part on this bike. We'll get it actually powerable and turn it into its final form. We're going to be adding the controller, the battery. We're going to be putting the rear brake on. We're going to be putting the display on, the other rear brake lever, and everything will be buttoned up. And then in the next coming weeks, we'll be taking this bike out for its first ride and hopefully giving it a proper rip to show you exactly what it's capable of. Hope you've enjoyed today's video, guys. I'm really excited to see how this progresses in the next week. I'll try and keep everyone a bit updated with small hints on my Instagram. So if you don't follow me on Instagram, @StingyRoger with 2 R's. But yeah, as always, guys, make sure you drop a like, leave a comment below, tell me what your favorite part was. And as always, I'll see you next week.